So I've got a few plants I'd like to get into the garden today. But all my tomatoes, I just want to transplant them into some bigger pots. So I've got several different varieties of indeterminate tomatoes. I've got Rutgers, Big Boys, Brandywine, and some cherry tomatoes, some red cherry tomatoes. What I want to do is just get these out of this smaller pot and put them in one that's a little bit bigger. Let them grow a little bit more before I put them in the garden. What I brought with me is my transplanting tool, otherwise known as a putty knife or scraper. Some of these I gave up on the seeds ever germinating, so I went back a few days later and planted a few more. So some of these I got as many as 5 tomato seeds growing in there. I'll have to thin those out. So that's the last of the big boy variety tomatoes. Taking my little popsicle sticks, it's got the variety on it, I'm laying over here so maybe I don't get them mixed up. As long as the wind don't blow them over, or the chickens don't get in them when I'm not looking. So that finishes up the tomatoes that I have. Let's give them a real quick drink, and then we'll see about getting this yellow squash and cucumbers planted directly into the raised bed garden. I'll borrow a little bit of the chicken's water. That way I don't got to run in the house. Now I'm just going to give them a good drink, let them get settled back in. think them chickens got their eyes on my tomato plants. I'll give that a minute or two to soak in, then I'll water them down once more. So now I'm going to take the squash and the cucumbers up to the raised bed garden and get them put in. After I've got them removed, I'm going to take all these other pots and put them back in this tray. That way I can take them back in the house, put them back in front of that window again. Well, I'm going to be planting these vegetables over here on this side. At least it's been turned up a few times. Still pretty lumpy, so I'm going to grab a hoe and break it up a little bit more before I put those plants in. Can you see the sunflowers down here that I planted? Yeah, they're hard to see. They didn't do very well. I'm gonna replant those as well today. So I'm going to plant my cucumbers right here on this shortest trellis. They're getting tangled in with the yellow squash. Both of those had 2 plants in it. This third one, it's got 3 plants, but I'm gonna leave them all in there because I don't expect these to do too well. As I mentioned before, I've never had any luck transplanting cucumbers. Now, this soil is extremely dry. I know they need a good drink. Hopefully that sun will come out a little bit more to warm these plants up. The yellow squash, I'm gonna plant it right here in the middle of the bed. So if this squash grows, this yellow crooked neck, I know what I'm planting in this little bed is gonna be way too much squash. There's actually only one plant in this one. This one here is some of the new seeds. They didn't germinate, so I replanted. They're not near as old as these other ones. But the last one's right about here. This one's got 2 plants in it. All right, let's give those a drink. I don't like the way she's looking at that plant. So I'm going to reseed some of these mammoth sunflowers. Say it looks like I've only got 3 plants in this bed and none over in the other bed. They say if you're lucky, these will grow 7 to 12 feet tall. I'm putting 2 or 3 seeds down in each hole, or 4. If these ever grow, they're probably going to end up being snacks for the chickens. Mammoth Russian sunflowers. I think that's actually a different variety than these other ones they got growing, but these are supposed to be some kind of really large sunflower also. Also got some sunflowers I'm going to plant on the front side of these. As you're looking down this way from the road, the giant sunflowers will be in the back. Like I say, 7 to 12 foot tall apparently. And these sunflowers might grow as tall as 4 to 5 feet. So I'm going to put them right in front of it. Wow, there ain't very many seeds in there. I'm just going to kind of sprinkle these down. Gotta go fill up my water jug. Almost forgot to give the existing sunflowers a drink. Let's get this tray back down to the truck so I can get those tomato pots put back in it. Somehow I've got to keep from mixing these tomatoes up. So I may need to write the name on each container. I can see this going bad real quick. Whoops, see, I almost grabbed the wrong one. I'm gonna go grab a Sharpie or something so I can write the name of the tomato on each pot. That way I can identify them better. Some of these tomatoes are looking better than others. Boy, I barely had enough room for all them. Now back to the house. See, I've only got like one good wind in the house I can put these in front of. So the odds are not very good toward these vegetable plants. I'm not a very good gardener, but I'm trying. Plus I got about 40 chickens free ranging out here in the yard. We'll just give it some time and I'll do another update. We'll see how these vegetables are doing. Thank you, Mr. Red. I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll catch you next time here at Diddle Do Homestead. Have a good evening, everybody. Now I think it's time just to kick back and relax a little bit.